Welcome to this presentation on Vygotsky's Zone of Proximal Development. Lev Vygotsky was a Russian psychologist who introduced the ZPD concept, which has become one of the most influential ideas in education and developmental psychology. Today, we will explore what the ZPD is, how it relates to scaffolding and collaborative learning, and why it remains relevant in modern educational practice. Lev Vygotsky was born in 1896 in what is now Belarus and worked during a remarkably productive but tragically short career before his death in 1934 at age 37. Despite his brief life, his ideas have had a profound and lasting impact on education, psychology, and child development. Vygotsky argued that cognitive development is not simply a biological process, but is deeply shaped by social interaction and cultural context. He believed that children learn through collaboration with more knowledgeable individuals, parents, teachers, and peers, and that this social learning precedes individual understanding. His famous quote captures the essence of his theory. What a child can do with help today, they will be able to do independently tomorrow. The zone of proximal development is a concept that describes the space between what a learner can already do independently and what they cannot yet do even with help. It is the sweet spot where learning is most effective, where tasks are challenging enough to promote growth but achievable with the right support. On the left, we have the zone of actual development. These are tasks the learner has already mastered. In the middle is the ZPD itself, the critical zone where a teacher, parent, or more capable peer can guide the learner to success. On the right is the zone of potential development, which represents tasks that are still too difficult even with assistance. The goal of effective teaching is to work within the ZPD, gradually helping learners expand what they can do independently. Let us look at each zone in more detail. The zone of actual development represents what the learner can already do independently. These are fully mastered skills that form the foundation of their current abilities. The zone of proximal development is where the magic happens. This is the space where learners can accomplish tasks they could not do alone, but with the guidance and support of a more knowledgeable person, a teacher, tutor, parent, or peer. This is where instruction should be targeted for maximum effectiveness. The zone of potential development contains tasks that are currently too advanced, even with assistance. However, as learners grow and their ZPD shifts, what was once impossible gradually becomes achievable. This dynamic nature of the zones is what makes Vygotsky's framework so powerful. Scaffolding is the practical application of Vygotsky's ZPD theory. It refers to the temporary support that a more knowledgeable person provides to help a learner accomplish tasks within their ZPD. The process follows 4 stages. First, the teacher assesses where the learner currently is, what they can do, and where they struggle. Second, targeted support is provided through demonstrations, prompts, hints, or direct instruction. Third, the learner practices with gradually decreasing levels of support. And fourth, the learner reaches mastery and can perform the task independently. The critical principle here is fading, the gradual removal of support as the learner becomes more competent. Effective scaffolding is responsive. It increases when the learner struggles and decreases as they gain confidence. The ultimate goal is always independence. Vygotsky's theory places social interaction at the very heart of cognitive development. He argued that all higher mental functions, like reasoning, problem-solving, and abstract thinking, originate in social interaction before being internalized by the individual. This means that learning is not a solitary activity, but a fundamentally social one. In educational settings, this translates into collaborative learning strategies, peer tutoring, guided discussions, think-pair-share activities, cooperative problem-solving, and mentoring. These approaches recognize that learners benefit enormously from interacting with others who have different perspectives and skill levels. Perhaps most importantly, Vygotsky saw dialogue as the primary mechanism of cognitive development. Language does not merely express thought, it actively shapes it. When students discuss ideas, explain their reasoning, and work through problems together, they are not just practicing skills, they are literally building their capacity to think. Vygotsky's ZPD has direct, practical applications in modern education. Differentiated instruction means recognizing that every student has a different ZPD and tailoring tasks accordingly. Some students need more challenge, while others need more support. Formative assessment involves continuously monitoring where learners are so that scaffolding can be adjusted in real time. This is not about end-of-term exams, but about ongoing, responsive evaluation. Peer learning leverages the social nature of Vygotsky's theory by pairing students of different ability levels. A more capable peer can serve as the more knowledgeable other and guide their partner through the ZPD. The gradual release model, often described as I do, we do, you do, embodies the scaffolding process. The teacher first demonstrates, then works collaboratively with students, and finally steps back as students work independently. To summarize, Vygotsky's Zone of Proximal Development offers a powerful framework for understanding how learning happens. The key takeaways are, first, that learning is most effective when it occurs within the ZPD, where tasks are challenging but achievable with support. Second, scaffolding is the practical tool for working within the ZPD. It provides responsive, temporary assistance that fades as the learner gains competence. Third, social interaction and dialogue are not just helpful additions to learning, they are its very foundation. And finally, effective education applies these principles through differentiated instruction, collaborative activities, and the gradual release of responsibility. As Vygotsky himself said, the only good learning is that which is in advance of development. Thank you for your attention.